Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? This is G. We're gonna talk astrology. Yes, we are. We're gonna do the week of. We're gonna do 7 days of astrology that we're gonna cover, and we do this every week. So if you're new here, hang around. See if you like my style, the way that I look at the astrology charts. If you got questions, ask those questions. If you want a chart that looks like my chart, comment below to me. Let me know that, and I'll help you out in any way that I can. And to start things off, this is for February 5th. We're in the month of February now. And we're going to notice things changing because we have a lot of planets in fixed signs. It's Aquarius season, right? But it's Aquarius season, I don't want to say gone wild, but we have a lot of planets in Aquarius now. So let me get the chart on here. All right. I have a lot written down, so don't get too overwhelmed, okay? Or don't get overwhelmed at all. First thing I want you to pay attention to, right? We're beginning February 5th, okay? And I have some dates written down on the other side of the chart, so we're just going to go there because there's a lot here, and I know it can feel really overwhelming. But before we even feel that way, look at the geometry. I'm always saying that. Without even looking at the details, I'm going to, you can see we have these two blue stars. You see the two blue stars? Yeah. You see them, right? Yeah. I call that Solomon's star. You can call whatever you want, but that's just what comes through in my head. It always has. Don't ask me why. That's just the way I hear things. So we got that Solomon star, and that represents, the one on top represents a grand earth trine because that's with Capricorn Energy and Virgo Energy and Taurus Energy. So it's a grand earth trine. Okay, and that's without even going into anything like too deep yet. So Earth is stabilizing. It's the material, it's the tangible. Think Taurus energy, right? The first Earth sign. Just go simple. My values, right? My values, my creature comforts. Venus rules this sign. So you're thinking all those Venus keywords, beauty, the earth. You're thinking love and desire, the five senses, right? Venus, it's feminine energy. She likes her purses. She likes fine art. She wants to look good, but she also wants things to smell good. She wants to feel good, right? She's all about textiles and, ooh, I like this clothing because it's soft. It feels really good today, whatever, right? Venus is into shoes, she, and it's not, she's gonna, some people say sometimes, especially with Jupiter there, we might be accumulating things because Jupiter wants to add to things. So has anybody noticed? Has anybody been accumulating? Like maybe you were a minimalist and all of a sudden you're like, I all of a sudden have more things than I had a year ago or 2 years ago. How did I get more shit? Right? Jupiter and Taurus, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I like that. And so Taurus says desires, but I desire that. So when we desire something, we spend money on it or we'll find a way to get it. We got to have it, right? We're weak because we have that desire and we let our desires override our thoughts. And so I'm only saying all this because this is part of the trine energy. It's earthy. It's usually about stability, right? Taurus energy is grounded. And some people refer to, sometimes you'll meet people and they'll be talking about either like their parents or their spouse or someone that they knew, a friend possibly. And they would say things like, that person was my rock. Taurus is normally described as like that because the energy is very grounded, very like almost stagnant. Think of the bull that just kind of sits there. It doesn't really move in the pasture unless somebody messes with it and pisses it off. It's happy. It's just happy having, it's got its food supply. It's comfortable. You get it? B-U-L-L. And as long as it's got its creature comforts, it's okay. It's not going to complain, and it doesn't really, it likes peace. So it doesn't want to be confrontational, but it is very fixed and can be quite stubborn. You follow? So Venus, feminine energy, she can be fixed, can be quite stubborn with things that she values, especially in matters of love and desires. Okay? And then the other part of that grand trine is Virgo energy. And so the Virgo energy involves the day-to-day routines, right? It's organizing, it's the calendar, it's the schedule, it's the to-do list. It can be literally your job, the tasks, the projects. It's hygiene and cleaning, but it's my health. And part of my health is keeping myself clean, but it's also the food I put in my body. It's connecting the mind and the brain and the gut together and understanding that, that second brain in the body, which some call now the first brain, like the gut brain. And so it's that holistic energy, Virgo. And so now Virgo takes the values, the Taurus stuff, and it organizes it. It says, you know what? I bought all these things. I've got all these shoes. Where am I going to put them? I need to organize where I put the values that I have, right? I need to make it orderly. There should be a schedule. Some people might even take a calendar and be like, okay, on this day, I'm wearing this outfit with these shoes or something like that. Like, even if it's not even if they don't write it out in their mind, they're plotting out. If you got a 9 to 5 and there's no uniform, you're like, okay, I got to have clothes to wear. I got to be prepared. I got to do my laundry. Virgo energy. It's the mundane stuff, the minutia, the details that there's nothing flashy about it. Most people find it quite boring, like, oh, come on, we're going out to the movies. You want to come? And it's a movie you don't want to see. And you're like, no, I got to stay home and do laundry. No, I got to stay home and wash my hair. Right? And it's like, okay, you chose that over that. You must really not want to go. You're staying in and doing domestic stuff. It could be gardening. I think of domestic things and tools because that's Virgo. And so I just want to give you guys a warning. We're 7 minutes in already. And my brain right now is so on the details. It's driving me nuts. I just recorded a video. It was freaking an hour. And I couldn't understand why I was so parched. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep track of this though. So think details. Think the minutia. Think the fixer. Think when I come into the scene, I look at something and I always figure out, or I think I know how to make something better. I can connect the dots and see the bigger picture. That's Virgo energy, really good with the details and connecting the dots. Usually a pretty damn good person in terms of having a high level of discernment. Mercury rules Virgo, so it uses the mind. Mercury is your mind. It uses the mind, right? You see? So if Mercury's there, now you know why these two are sisters, right? Because Venus, the first sign in Earth, and then Mercury, the second sign, because Virgo is the second Earth sign. And then we go to Cappy, Capricorn energy. And who rules Capricorn? Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. So it goes Venus, Mercury, and Capricorn. So they get along. That's what that tells you. They get along. And Capricorn, look, we have Venus in Capricorn at this time. Ooh, interesting. So values and money. So Capricorn energy, Capricorns are all about building. It's about your future. It is your career, but it can be so much more than that. It's your vocation. It's shit you would do whether you got paid to do it or not. You're building something that is like, it will exist long after you're gone. Right, you're building something that's deeply meaningful. So normally when we're working towards something, we're like, okay, I'm going to get this house or I'm going to get this or whatever, whether you have jewels or whatever material, tangible stuff. That's Capricorn, tangible stuff. And then once you've acquired those things, you can't take it with you, but you can leave it to your children like a legacy, or you can donate it, you see? So it's Capricorn energy, something you've worked towards and for. You were building for something. And the goal was to establish your long-term security. You follow? Capricorn energy. Venus being there, we know Venus rules Taurus. So this trine, this grand earth trine, when we back up a little bit, it's pretty powerful. We got the players in places that can be helpful. But where's Mercury? We know Mercury rules Virgo. Where's Mercury? Mercury's in Aquarius. You see that? And so we know whatever this thing is, this grand trine, something new. It's involving something new because it's in Aquarius. It's group energy, so it may be social causes. We think of housing and we think of people who are displaced and have nowhere to stay. Because Uranus, Aquarius energy is all about new and different, but at the same time, Saturn is a co-ruler. Yes, the ancient ruler. So Saturn energy here is also about structures and forms and rules and duties. So is Capricorn. But Saturn has to kind of share those responsibilities with Uranus because Uranus also rules Aquarius energy. Okay? So that new thing, that first top blue star you see, says something with our values, possibly something with the money. Is it going to be interest rates, right? Is it going to be interest rates? Everyone's looking at the dollar and inflation and have they gotten a handle on it? And do they have to keep raising rates, or are they going to actually go down in interest rates? Are they actually going to have an interest rate cut? Something new is happening and it might be a surprise. That's what this chart says. And the finances, the financial market, the global financial system is part of this. Because Aquarius and a whole bunch of other planets. We'll get there. Let's go over here. I kind of just wanted to give that piece of good news off the top because it's trine energy, it's earth, and it's meant to stabilize. And then you see there's another trine in water in Scorpio, another fixed sign. But it involves Pisces and it involves Cancer, the public, right? So it's an interesting combination, the way we have that Solomon star. It's a super interesting combination of maybe there are packages that are created, legislation is passed, and then maybe we can get some funding to people who need it, and especially in places that are fighting for democracy and people who need stability and structure and order. So, without going any further, we're going to talk about the dates for this week. On the 6th, we have Pallas Athena entering Sagittarius on the 6th, the very next day. Okay? So Pallas Athena is the general, the female general, feminine energy. Thinks outside of the box, really smart, really creative, super awesome when it comes to maps and strategizing. That's her superpower, okay? And yes, it's feminine, and she's in Saggy, and Saggy is about people who, when we think of people, this can be judges, the justices, people who are traveling, going on a journey. We think of the judicial branch of the government. So we think of the lawyers who make up the laws, even though that's legislation, but we think of the courtroom and the judiciary branch. So we think of what can happen, right? And within that branch, we think of how it could affect us and be part of our life. Well, this is the rulings, right? We think of the Supreme Court and Pallas Athena being the strategist there. Hopefully this is good news. Hopefully, because this is feminine energy that she represents, hopefully that becomes an added value here, I'm hoping, because beliefs. Sagittarius is beliefs, it's spirituality, and it's religion. And the reality is there's just way too much religion in the government. And I'm not against any particular religion, but there's, supposed to be a separation of church and state. Matter of fact, I saw a guy, I watched his talk for a little bit, and the title of his video said, Separation of Church and Hate. And I thought, wow, that's really well said. That one sentence says so much, I realize people have different opinions, and This is a very opinionated energy, Sagittarius, right? I can make a judgment on someone. So it can be unconscious judgments. Foreigners, foreign lands, foreign languages. So this is immigration, people who are traveling. And so I pray that this Pallas Athena is going to bring some ease. Then we go to the 7th. And we got a couple of things happening on the 7th. We have the Sun squaring Uranus, authority figures. So this is someone who's in charge because it's the Sun. And it's in Aquarius. It's authority and authority together. Authority over global systems. Squaring Uranus in Taurus. Someone who's an authority within a financial market, within banking. It might be the Fed and the interest rates. I made a mention to it earlier. Also on this day, look at this. We've got Venus in a powerful, grand Earth trine, which I alluded to earlier. Venus in a powerful, grand Earth trine. Earth, right. Venus in Capi, Uranus in Taurus, and Juno in Virgo. And they're matching numbers, 19 degrees. So I think there's a strong possibility of a surprise because we got Uranus over here and Uranus over here. Now we go to the 9th. Yep, we got a new moon coming up in Aquarius. There is a video out. Actually, I don't know if it's out. It's recorded. Hopefully I'll get it up before you see this video, just so it can kind of cover some of the questions that I usually get, which is fine. But the point of a video is to kind of answer the majority of the questions ahead of time. And then if you have other questions, please comment below the video. But a new moon in Aquarius also says something new and shocks and surprises. You see? So there's something here that this first week of February, there's a lot of exciting and new stuff going on. Now, of course, I think on this chart I have written down, maybe I didn't write it down, I'll write it down here in big bold letters. Everybody, lots of folks this has been a big topic for a while, of course, even though it's been around probably for a lot longer than we all realize. And it has a lot further to go and grow before it's perfected. But Aquarius energy is AI. Aquarius energy represents disruptions. It's disruptions. It's disruptive energy. That's what Aquarius energy is meant to do. It's meant to go and say, I know this is the way you've always done this. And so remember, this is global systems, Aquarius energy. Global systems. It's social causes. It's the humanitarian energy, right? So we think of World Health Organization, right? We think of just different organizations like Habitat for Humanity, people who are doing things to help those who are in need. Basic needs, food, housing, right? Absolutely. But it's not just those things. It's not just all like voluntary stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like this is space. This is NASA. This is, the International Space Station, right? Yes, this is Tesla. And so we think Aquarius energy as the inventor and inventions. So digital, right? We think of the Bitcoin. We think of the Ethereum, we think of the cryptocurrency, we think of digital dollars, we think of the government, Capricorn energy, and how Venus is there. And Venus represents the money. She is the dollar. You could put dollar bill over Venus's head there. That's Venus, our values and our money. She can represent love, though, and self-love. But in Cappy, she's more about the business. She's more about the rules and the order and the structure and following the rules. Because that's Venus. She obeys Saturn because she gets along with Saturn. She understands that Saturn knows more than her. Saturn, you can liken to kind of be like her dad. Remember when we did the earth signs in the beginning? It was Venus, and then Mercury, and then Saturn, right? So Venus and Mercury, the siblings, and then you've got Saturn, dad energy, right? The authority figure or the boss, even if it's not the dad. But what makes this, I think, fascinating is that Saturn and Uranus, Saturn is with Uranus as well, because it's a co-ruler of Aquarius energy. And so this is some new structure, some new goal, some new form, some new duty, some new responsibility. right? It's new, but it's not just helter-skelter new. So it can feel disruptive as heck, because it's like you're going against the grain. You're going against convention. That's what Uranus was sent to do, to go against convention. It was to be the aha moment and say, Eureka, in the laboratory. Okay? Now, there's that sun and all this Aquarius energy, and it's going to square all the Taurus stuff. Remember, Taurus is fixed. So it angles it up and squares it. And there's the Uranus in Taurus that I spent a lot of time talking about, our values and our fixed values. This is also the, agriculture, right? The earth itself. And we think of farming and food. Absolutely. The land itself. So the new moon in Aquarius for this week is on the 9th. All right. So look out for that video. If it's already out, I'll link it below and you'll get all the details there. But just remember, new and disruptive possibly, so maybe some surprises, all right? On the 11th, what do we have going down on the 11th? I think this is Black Moon Lilith. Yeah. I'm giving a heads up is what I'm doing here. Black Moon Lilith is in this chart at 15 degrees. You see that? What's going to happen, though, is Black Moon Lilith is going backwards, and she will be conjunct Regulus. And so I have this down for the 11th, I believe. Yeah, you see that right there? Let me double check my chart on this. Black Moon Lilith will be at 0 degrees, which makes that Black Moon Lilith will be conjunct Regulus. So we're going to have Black Moon Lilith. And why does that matter? Well, you see I have the words quincunx written. I'll draw this line for you guys. Yeah. The red and black line is a quincunx to the world axis point. Again, this was just something as soon as I opened this chart up to talk about this week's video, right? For the week of. The first thing I heard was world axis point. And so I thought, okay, let's see what's up. Why am I hearing this? Let's go look. I haven't talked about the world axis point in a long time. So it's Aries energy at 0 degrees. Okay. There's 4 world axis points, but the one at 0 degrees in Aries is kind of considered a big one, right? It's on the global stage. It's big. It's a world access point. So it's big because it's something new. It's an initiation. It's a starting. It's somebody leading the way. That's what Aries does. It's the leader. But it also, its ruler is Mars. So we kind of got to think about that for a quick second. Mars energy, we know Mars is the soldier, right? And we don't want to hear any more about wars and fighting. I know I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sure you guys are too. And hopefully with that gigantic quincunx from the Regulus and Black Moon Lilith together, I don't know, to be honest with you. I just know that it's there. It won't be really long that Black Moon Lilith is part of this, in all honesty. Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo. So that's, all those Virgo keywords. So this can be hygiene. It can be the necessities, right? The food, the necessities, though, for a healthy body. And we think of people who are living in a really poor way, who there may be just real challenges to having clean food, a safe place to stay, to sleep, to stay warm, clean clothing, like a clean body, like all those things are Virgo keywords. It's also pets, domestic pets for Virgo. Keep that in mind as well. And so that's a big quincunx. And Regulus is going to go backwards. Black Moon's going to go backwards into Leo. So this isn't new territory because that world access point never moves. It just stays there at 0 degrees in Aries. Aries is our rights, our independent actions of our body, the rights of my body. It does represent our appearance, right? But the freedom of our actions of our body. So at this time, on the 11th and the 12th, and the 12th. Black moon moves, right? So by the very next day, I think she's even actually already going to move and be in Leo by then. Yeah, she moves pretty quick. So the heads up is going to be more like, on the 10th and the 11th of February. And then we take a look at Mars. I got Mars down here. I got February 12th on the chart. Mars at 29 degrees. Yep. Mars at 29 in Capricorn. Right. And I also have Mercury in Cheroklo here. So we're going to go over there and take and see what happens. This is the 12th. This is a Monday already, right? The following Monday. And that week's chart might be a bigger deal, but this is the week leading up to it. I have so much drawn here. I just didn't want to go too deep and have it be too insane. But here's Mars. All right. You see Mars at 24 at the beginning of this week. And what happens is by the end of the week, actually by Monday, right? Mars will be at 29 in Capricorn. So it's the actions. Mars is disciplined. It's taking the orders from the government, from big businesses and corporation. It's serious. It's about its duties and responsibilities. It doesn't really mess around. It's a diligent worker. Keeps its head down, keeps its nose to the stone, and just keeps plodding away. Normally 29 degrees is a critical degree, but this Mars is disciplined because it's in Capricorn. It's been through training. It's disciplined. So I'm not overly concerned, except that Mercury and Cheroklo will be down here. You can see this little Cheroklo here in Aquarius, right? Aquarius again. Surprises, different, new. It's group energy. Well, Cheroklo is already there, but I drew it up, so I'm going to put it next to it. They're going to be together. Mercury's the news. It's information. It's disruptions. It's communication. It's social media. It's technology. It's sales. So I'm thinking something in terms of social platforms even, but information about everything tech, everything science, even astrology, and something that could be disruptive, and it could involve someone who is considered an authority figure, something where we're just like, oh, damn, and it's like, I'm the boss of you type of energy. So authority figures around the world, off the top of everybody's head, you could probably name 5 of them if you're someone who pays attention to the news. I'm not going to do that. But Cheroklo is someone who observes. This is the observer, right? I observe the wounds. The wounds of what? Well, it's going to be the wounds of the group because it's in Aquarius. It's in Aquarius. Right. Let's not forget Aquarius energy can be that angelic realm stepping in. It can be. But what gives me pause is all the Aquarius energy. You see the red I have drawn in. I'm just going to go over with black. All that Aquarius energy squares all the Taurus energy. You follow? Which is why I wanted to point out all of the grand earth trine that we had, the stable grand earth trine, and the grand water trine, the 2 stars, the Solomon star that's in there. I think it's important to hold on to that and to remember that even though there's so much here and it's disruptive, it's basically challenging our values, our outdated values. So just remember, we don't have to fear new because we normally as humans always fear different and new. But we're just being nudged, even though it might not feel like a nudge. That's what Uranus's job is to do, is to push us outside of our comfort zone. That's its goal. So we're feeling that a lot more now, right? Things might not seem as, there might be things where we're just like, oh God, because it's, when something squares your Taurus energy, that's your place of peace. Yeah. You're calm, you're peaceful, you feel stable, things are beautiful, you got your creature comforts. So when Aquarius energy comes along and angles all that, it stresses it out. So we just got to remember, this is all going to move pretty fast. The sun is going to move quite fast. It moves 1 degree a day. Okay? And Mercury is already over here at 13. It's almost halfway through Aquarius by the 12th, right? So these energies, the only thing that's going to really stay here where we're going to be like, oh my God, is Pluto. Even though Mars at 29 degrees, that means the following week's video will be discussing Mars conjunct Pluto, right? And then Mars will take like 40 days to go through the sign of Aquarius, okay? But everything else will start to move along. And as long as we kind of have that heads up, right, then we can kind of feel like, well, I was prepared for it. I was prepared that there was going to be some challenges to my values. And so when we think of Taurus, remember, your creature comforts, things that you're really stubborn about, right? So you're looking for where is the Taurus energy in your chart and where is your Aquarius energy in your chart. Once you see those two in the house numbers you're in, then you can see that angle and you can be like, okay, this is what G was talking about. I should expect for things to feel stress and tension. And again, it usually is only felt when it angles a house cusp line or if you have planets there. If you don't have anything there, according to one of my charts, because you see, I'm kind of an astrology geek. I pull up a lot of things in the charts. So if you don't see anything there, then you may like get through this Aquarius season and it might not be so stressful. But remember, with Aquarius comes duties and responsibilities because of Saturn, right? As an example, real quick, and then we'll close this off. Last year at this time with my mom, duties and responsibilities, right? It became, my mom was doing her own thing and then she had some major health issues that happened. And ever since then, I'm on the phone with my mom a minimum of 3 times a day on average. And sometimes those can be short calls. Sometimes they can be, it just depends on how she's functioning and what level she's at. And so that's become one of my responsibilities. It's an everyday thing, right? And that's a duty. In me, that's how I feel. I take it on as, oh my gosh, this is this thing that I have said, okay, within me, I feel like I need to do this and she needs this. So that is just a kind of a simplistic way of looking at it. But my mom is an Aquarius sun, Aquarius birthday, right? Yes, she is. And I'm a Taurus birthday. You see? So it's a good example to show you the stress and the tension to your values, to who you value, to what you value, and then the responsibilities, the duties, and the new thing that you might partake in or you might be involved in. It's stretching all of us outside of our comfort zones. All right, you got any questions? Comment below. I hear Taffy knocking on the door, and you know how that goes. I got to go get the little rugrat and see what she's up to, because, yeah, it's just that time. Take care. And for those of you who are still with me, I appreciate your time. Thank you.